What if Alice in Wonderland had a severe psychological disorder, having psychosis episodes and falling in and out of reality into disturbing and grisly delusions? This is what Alice in Dreams is all about, created by the channel XP Goat. Hi folks, I'm R, your narrator, and this video is about a disturbing analog horror that I came across a while ago. This is a more tragic, disturbing interpretation of Alice in Wonderland. The story begins with Alice falling into a deep rabbit hole, finding the notorious white rabbit which she follows in an eerie, slow pace. Alice is wearing a white rabbit mask herself, which she takes off just before stepping through the doorway into insanity. She seems to be a little unsure if she wants to step through or not, as if she questions the legitimacy of her experience, if what she is seeing is another psychotic episode or not. That's when the scene is cut with an instruction clip of the practice of lobotomy, which takes a more surreal turn when the model used in the lobotomy instruction video looking at us through the screen with the tape cutting back to Alice in an extreme close-up to her eyes, which clearly suggests that she was the one who had been lobotomized. This means the time period is before 1967, as lobotomy was banned in 1967, but that can be disputed as in different countries lobotomy was banned at different times. Alice witnesses more troubling imagery, surreal things that one should not see. A puppet is dancing, a clown is smiling, and other humanoid sheep beings and white rabbit are there too. Alice seems to be enjoying herself, clapping her hands while watching them, as if this is entertaining to her in a disturbing way. A fractured black and white portrait is seen with writings just below it in Spanish and English translation.
I am not falling into a void. I am not crazy.
The Spanish says, no estoy loca, which is a term used for feminine counterparts, meaning that this is what Alice is telling herself. Despite trying to convince herself that she is not losing her mind, this black and white image fractures into a monstrous shape. The color tone used, black and white, depicts the lack of color and emotion in Alice, how her personality had been taken away from her after being lobotomized. More eerie and horrifying imagery displays the mental state of Alice, with horrifying and gruesome scenes, as if a cat is being killed and her own face being peeled, not feeling her face belonging to her. There are several eyes that are put on different inanimate objects as well, which represents and symbolizes the many eyes on her from the mental health institute that she is admitted in, being monitored all the time. Alice seems to know that she is suffering from a mental health disorder, but she gets confused and loses her mind, losing herself, falling into a void, unable to stabilize her memories and mind. Her face peeling could also be a representation of the mental pressure that she is under, trying really hard to grasp sanity, but failing over and over again. The video ends with Alice waking up in a padded room in a psychiatric ward, displaying how she falls into a void and rabbit hole of fiction and delusion, while in fact she is admitted and contained in a room with her mind going to different places that she cannot control or comprehend. Alice's story continues in a second video called The Looking Glass. The video starts with a disturbing visual of a lobotomy needle getting too close to Alice's eye, and just before it makes contact, the scene is cut to her medical file.
Alice Little, an 18-year-old with a diagnosis of schizophrenia. The patient also experiences bouts of violence and dissociation from reality. Treatment suggested lobotomy. The lobotomy seems to have had positive results for Miss Little. Alice Little is fit to live with society. Her mental state improved post-lobotomy. A white rabbit came for her. Signed by Dr. Ford from Hospital for Mental Decadence.
Who is the white rabbit that came for her? Is it possible that the entire letter is a figment of her imagination and she is not yet released? Regardless, Alice soon finds herself in her mansion looking through a window. Her cat is pawing at her leg, wanting attention. That's when she looks at the mirror, dissociating from reality yet again, drinking a potion which makes her small. We also see a disturbing image of the cat having her skin peeled and dying, which might suggest that Alice, unfortunately, in one of her episodes, killed her own pet cat. That is what contributed to the statement in her medical file that they mentioned that she has bouts of violence. The scene is quickly shown to how Alice is still restrained in a psychiatric ward with her face getting wiped away. This is a powerful scene which portrays how the lobotomy could have potentially wiped her personality away, making her become a hollow shell, a husk, falling deeper and deeper into a psychological void. That's when Alice finally meets a conjoint twin who are clearly sewn together as part of an experiment. There seems to be a reference to the game Franbo, which explores the idea of experimentations and cruel treatments. The sisters in the game were named Clara and Mia, who were sewn together in an experiment by Dr. Oswald, a brilliant yet insane doctor. The sisters ever since struggled with duality, a concept of seeing and hearing both sides of a story or argument, seeing both the idea and the contradiction, the for and against. The scene shows the sisters dancing in a theater when they get split, leading to another scene with a brain being split in half. The writing below it mentions that mutilation is not a cure, that it is hell. That is exactly what we see here, and in Franbo, that cursing the innocent children with sewing them together just in the name of science caused them an irreversible mental damage, struggling with duality, constantly comparing each other, harboring hate and anger and sadness, losing themselves and personality in the process. Alice soon comes across Humpty Dumpty, who speaks to her in Spanish that she should find the demon and slay it. It is only then that she will find freedom. The full translation is as followed.
There are few warriors left standing in a battle. You cling to something intangible. You will be able to create the wall. Only then you will be invincible. Destroy the demon, and you will find freedom. Be careful with what you will face.
Alice roams around being lost, finding herself roaming in the psyche ward when she comes across a mirror, finding a lobotomy needle which transforms into a sword, which she wields while transforming into a warrior. This acts as the instrument to slay this demon. She then descends down a long stairwell, with the writing suggesting that she is descending down the darkest part of her subconscious when she comes across herself lying helplessly on a bed, being guarded by a demon. Slaying this demon, claiming victory, Alice starts to believe that she has won, becoming a queen and having a crown, which ends the video. This is of course all symbolic, showing how Alice is fighting a losing battle, trying to overcome what she has lost, her mind. Lobotomy disrupts the connections between the frontal cortex and the rest of the brain, particularly the thalamus, rendering someone non-responsive to stimuli, essentially making them mellow and lost. Alice desperately was trying to fight a battle to regain her personality and essence, going deep into her subconscious, trying to fight one of the hardest battles, fighting against her own self, which is even symbolized how her face was wiped. But no matter what she does, it is past any return. She cannot be her former self any longer. Despite seeing how she gets her face back, it is a never-ending battle, with Alice lost in the Wonderland, the depths of her own subconscious, constantly fighting. And that is it for this video, folks. A truly disturbing exhibition of lobotomy and the disturbing facts surrounding it. I truly hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, you can stay tuned for more by hitting on the subscribe button and the notification bell. As always, it's been your host Star, and I wish you have a fantastic day. See you on the next one.